This go out to all the parents all around the world. All parents all around the world. This is a warning. Parents. Oh, how should I put this? When we look into how we raise our kids, we need to think about what's ultimately important for our kids. I know a lot of us want to do things for our kids to kind of prepare themselves for the future. I'm about to say something that it may be alarming. I know a lot of us put so much emphasis on the kids going to school, a special school for their kids, either it's private, either it's a school that's for specific kids. We're concerned about their grades and their position in society. Let me tell you something. That's important, but that's not the ultimate thing that we need to focus on. I know a lot of us, we have our kids in sports, want to play football, basketball, instruments, do things to really develop their talents. And maybe one day they could become this person who makes a lot of money or even get a good job. That's all good. But that's not ultimately the important thing for our kids. I know a lot of us have our kids, this is important, have our kids in these churches. Depending on the churches to raise our kids and tell them about Jesus. Let me tell you something. We as parents are responsible for our kids. Our church is not going to save us or even going to save your kids. The pastor is not going to save your kids. The church is not going to save us as well. We are responsible for the being of our kids. We are, not the church. So if the church is not doing something that they should be doing, or you see something that you don't agree with that doesn't align with the Bible, you need to make a change. But the thing is, we need to do our research and study for ourselves and make sure that the church is aligned with the truth. And I'm talking about, no matter what denomination you're in, no matter if your church have 50,000 people in it or have 5 people, you got to make sure that is aligned with the truth. You got to do your research. You have to ask God to open your eyes to what you need to be focusing on. Ask, acknowledge, surrender, and know. Acknowledge that you don't know and you want to know. Surrender your preconceived ideas. And K for know. Know that God has the answer to what you're looking for. But you have to rely and believe that God will provide. I know a lot of us want our kids to become this person to carry on our last names and bring grandbabies into the world and be married and represent you in every way that you wasn't able to represent yourself. That's cool and all, but that's not the ultimate important thing that we need to focus on for our kids. See? I know we want to work hard 40 hours, 70 hours, 80 hours a week trying to save up money so we can leave it behind for our kids so they'll be in a better position that we were in. That's all cool and dandy, but that's not the ultimate important thing that's for our kids. You want to know what's the important thing for our kids? The ultimate important thing is that we prepare them for heaven. Simple as that. Because the Bible says, what shall it profit a man? What shall it profit a child? What shall it profit anyone to gain the whole world, to get good grades, to get a good job, to be able to be the superstar, or to be able to have grandkids and have a family, and they lose their soul? They don't make it to heaven, but they make it to hell. You see? That's some deep stuff, man. So we need to recognize the times that we live in. that we need to take what's going on seriously. And this is saying, I like to say, it says here, that the stronger the world gets in sin, the stronger the world gets in doing things that's not God's will, the more we need to be connected with God. The more intentional we need to be with our kids. The more aggressive we need to prepare our kids for their future. See? What does it matter how much money you was able to save and give to your kids when you pass on? What does it matter if you're able to get them in a good school? What does it matter if they're able to be married and have kids? What does it matter about these things if they're not going to make it into heaven? See, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm here to give you a warning that we need to be serious about our walk with God. We need to be serious about what we do with our kids. We need to be serious about what's taking place and what God is asking of us when we raise our children in Him. See, a lot of us, the majority of us are being deceived. The majority of us, I'm not even talking about those outside the church. I'm talking about in the church as well. The majority of us are going to be deceived. And you know what deceive mean? Deceive don't mean, oh, maybe, or there's a chance. Deceive means you're going to lead you to destruction. That means you're going to lose your soul. That means you're not making it to heaven. So I know it's a hard thing to hear, but we need to stop playing games and start being serious about our walk with God. Serious. The time is now. This is a warning. This is a warning. This is a warning. We are responsible for our children, not the pastor, not the government, not the society, not the things that got set up in schools and the programs. We are responsible for our kids. And God is going to hold us accountable if we don't do things according to how we should get it done. No excuses. We can't blame the pastor. We can't blame society. We can't blame Donald Trump. We can't blame the government. You can't blame the neighborhood. You can't blame social media. You can't blame none of these things but yourself. If your child do not make it into heaven. I know it's heavy, but you are responsible for your children. Their blood is on your hands, parents. Start acting right. Start asking. Start seeking. Start knocking how we should do that. Don't depend on your pastors. Don't depend on your churches. Don't depend on your social media. Don't depend on these programs on YouTube. Don't depend on the government. Don't depend on none of that. Depend only on Christ. But you have to ask. You have to seek. You have to knock. And He will show you the way. There is hope. But it starts with you. Because when you make the choice, that's when God's going to make the change. This is Hhheeezzzyyy. Till next time, peace.